Welcome to episode 61 of the official podcast for Guardian 1, a Destiny group dedicated to the prosperity of Guardians everywhere. We broadcast live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I am joined by River.
Just for the record, it's not that I don't like the theme song. I just think maybe we could get something else that might be better.
Crimson Warlock.
What's up, everybody?
Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings, Guardians!
And very special Destiny community guest, MysticRose.
Hi, everybody.
We are going to be talking
here. Sorry.
We're going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Actually, first, am I coming in all right? Because I'm getting a lot of static on my end.
Sounds good here.
Fantastic. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening in on the podcast, however it is that you are choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1Net. That's G, the number 1, N-E-T. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. You can also send us email to our email, feedback at guardian1.net. We also have a Bungie.net's forums group. We utilize the forums for comments and feedback, so be sure to join the conversations going on there. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. We love you so much. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, and if you can't catch the show live, you can always search for Guardian 1 on iTunes, as well as the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1 Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast Guardian Radio, who broadcast every Monday night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at Guardians of D and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/Guardians of D. Other podcasts include Amesis Gaming, TTL Party Chat, Robust Radio, and if you want to read the Grimoire without actually read it, check out Ghosts and Echoes because it's fantastic. Love to listen to it every now. And actually, I had one more thing. Where was it? There was a couple guys that I actually added to the clan on Xbox side.
Outstanding.
I know. I was so excited. We got Dale Jansen. You guys might know him on Twitter. He's a pretty cool guy. I really enjoy talking with him. And Punisher Z59. Punisher Z59 joined as well. Only on the Xbox side. I don't know about PlayStation. You guys are going to have to come up with that.
What were you going to say, Agrios?
I wasn't going to say anything. What did I say?
I don't know. All right. Welcome to the clan, you guys. Have some fun. Play some Destiny. All right. Lots of cool stuff to talk about. Definitely have to get to MysticRose, get some answers from her. But first, I would like to wish a very special, very happy birthday to Sharks 3D Man, turning 17 today. Very exciting. Very exciting.
You're kidding me. You're kidding me.
No, Sharks is not 17.
I thought you were saying 70.
Oh. You know what? Either one of those would have been really funny. I went with 17, though.
Shark sounds like one of the youngest, but he's actually one of the oldest.
Right? He does.
No
he
way.
does sound young. I thought that he was really young. Basically,
He's older than I am.
Based on his, he's older than I am too.
No way.
He is,
because I know you're older than I am.
Yep.
Holy
I'm older than both.
It's Destiny is something that transcends age, and I thought he was young just because he put so many hours in. But no, he's just a badass. He's just a Destiny badass. So
tired, apparently.
But
the leader of Destiny Pub is in his 70s or close to 70, something along those lines.
So awesome.
Right. But yeah, very, very happy birthday to you, Sharks. And also another congratulations to him before joining the ranks. I don't know if you heard, River, but he is taking your place as your opposite. I have anointed him the almost river. So the
Bizarro River.
The Bizarro River.
I was listening to the podcast. And I was like, he's replace a river.
Exactly. So it's very exciting. I hope he's having a good time tonight, and maybe he'll join us in the chat at some point. Otherwise, happy birthday to you, my friend.
Happy birthday!
So let's see. MysticRose, you
Yeah.
are. I've wanted to get you on the show for a while, but my setup has been touch and go, and it still is. The setup is still touch and go. Today it worked out great. I don't know if you guys have seen the Moulin Rouge, but I felt like Ziedler and dancing around and going, everything's going so well, and just waiting.
God.
You know, like that's where it begins to go really horribly. But yeah, so I Twitch, or not Twitch, but XSplit got their act together and have separated the license checking from broadcasting. It used to be intertwined, and that was freezing up my computer, and so I didn't want to have you on and then waiting for, you know, this podcast has been late up to some kind of 40 or 50 minutes, you know, at some point. So it's like,
Yes,
Nope.
but we're
That's-
all happy to wait.
Aw. That's really nice, actually.
We amuse ourselves in chat and give you guys a hard time.
Right, and you know what? I'm down on that. I can get with that. But so I want to know right off the bat is what is it about Destiny? Because you've been everywhere that I have been. Like every time I join somebody's Twitch, you know, watching them play Destiny, you're always in the chat. You're always very courteous and very helpful and very friendly. And at some point, I just said, "All right,
Aw.
have to have MysticRose on the show because you are everywhere and so helpful and friendly." So is it video games in general that brought you to this, or did Destiny bring this out of you? Because I tell you what, I did not previously have a podcast about any singular game before Destiny came out, and so it was actually Destiny that brought me out of this shell and wanting to talk about this with everyone. So what is it?
That's what it was. It was Destiny. I never played a video game before in my life. And I saw the promo for this before they had the beta out, and it just struck me. I saw the promo and just said, I have to play this. And played the beta, bought the collector's edition, never looked back.
Man, that's amazing. I bet Bungie is stoked to hear that. Because that's some pretty glowing review right there, especially if you've never played video games before it. You know, like jumping into Destiny for me was a no-brainer. I'd played Bungie's previous games and I knew somewhat what I could expect from them. But for you to have just jumped into it for this is pretty outstanding.
Yeah, it was quite a learning curve.
I could imagine.
I'd love to see your stats at some point.
Oh, no, you don't.
that right there is the reason I'd love to see your stats.
What I wanted, what I wish I had, was recordings of my first few missions, because I had to have looked insane or drunk or both, like shooting at the wall, shooting at the floor, running into things, spinning in circles. It was a riot. I even had to laugh.
I know when I was teaching my girlfriend to play, she never really played first-person shooters before. She had played games, but mostly like platformers back in like Nintendo era, and then she didn't really game too much after that. But it took me forever to get my girlfriend to learn how to use the left analog stick. She'd just strafe around and walk backward and forward, just staring at the floor, at the ceiling.
That's where my 3-year-old is right now.
That's kind of how I felt when I first started. How does everybody do this? But it's just been a total blast.
You know, it reminds me, this whole thing reminds me of the fact that why I'm so into Destiny is because of the backstory, is because of the lore. It's not just video games. It happens to be a video game, but I feel like there's so much more waiting for us right now, you know, and even right this second, I have enough time to dream of the things that I want to do in the Destiny universe outside of the game, and it's just part of this larger. They're telling a story, and I've really been thinking about how it is that the conversations must go at Bungie HQ when they're talking about how do we get this information out to people, because I watch a lot of this Cinema Sins on YouTube, and he talks a lot about how there's just exposition. Like there's just people. The only reason this person is saying this is to let the people who are watching know what's going on. And how do you do that as a game studio without specifically doing that? How do you get the information out of there? How do you draw people into this? How do you make them care about it without telling them why they need to care about it? And your story, MysticRose, that I did not know prior to right now, it really highlights that. It really highlights, the power of what could be, the power of what will be. You learned to play video games just for this, just for Destiny, and I want to say thank you, a huge thank you, from myself personally, as the leader of Guardian 1 and as Guardian 1 as a whole. Thank you, because you are always in our chat. You are always everywhere in the Destiny world. You're always so helpful. You're always so just really friendly. And it's always good to see you everywhere that you are, and it's great to have you on the show.
True story.
Thank you. I have learned so much from the different podcasts that I've gone in on, podcasts and streams, things like that. Just from watching how people do things and how they approach things, it's helped so much.
Right. I love watching other people learn. Like Destiny specifically must be such an experiment as far as seeing how information spreads. At some point I was trying to farm those 3 hive majors that are in the steppes, and I happened to go down there one time, and there was a dude who would just run back to this back wall, and from that second on I started doing that. Like Bungie, if they were so inclined, could look at how people are learning from each other. Like we are all rats running these mazes that they've built, and they can see everywhere that we've been. They can see everything that we've done, and so what you're saying right there is, it's a beautiful thing the way this information spreads. It's really awesome, really very awesome. So. Does anybody on the panel have questions for MysticRose before we get into the deep Destiny conversation that is awaiting us?
Yeah, I've got a quick question for you. So how many other games have you gotten sucked into? Was Destiny, is it the only thing you've been playing, or have you discovered many more games that have been enjoyments for you?
It's the only thing I'm playing right now. It's very time intensive. But I do admit I have seen a number of other games that I want to play. I just haven't gotten to them yet.
Okay, so I'll tell you. Go on, Agrias.
I was just going to say, being that you're a new gamer, and I'm sure you're a PS Plus. Or wait, are you an Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox One. I am planning to get a PlayStation because I want to play with everybody I know. But I haven't got it yet.
Well, I'm not entirely certain how the Xbox side works. I know there's some sort of free games that they offer too, but the PlayStation Plus comes with free games as well, and that's a good venue to try out a lot of different things.
Yeah, they have Xbox Gold in the beginning of every month. There are 2 or 3 games that you can get for free, and I just haven't tried them yet. It's the whole space opera feel of Destiny seems to be so much more full than some of the other things that I've seen. I just haven't gotten sucked into them. I want to try them, but
this might be heresy, but try this month's, because it's the entire first season of Walking Dead.
Yeah, it is.
Wait, on the Xbox One?
Yeah.
And 360.
Interesting.
Not a game?
Yeah. It's the Telltale Games.
It's like a choose your own adventure sort of make choices sort of game.
I've seen that. A friend of mine played it. But it was the big bad wolf.
Oh
yes.
yeah,
That's the same company, right?
Yep.
Out this week, I believe, also is the Minecraft story mode, which is also done by the same people. And I checked it out, and it looks pretty cool. The game is set up to where you just make decisions and you just have to live with them. And as much as that drives me nuts, it's so much better than something like you said, space opera. And I wanted to throw out Mass Effect because holy cow, Mass Effect is a space opera if there ever was one. And what I would do with that is I would come up to a situation where I had to make a choice, and I would make a save that wasn't the save I started with when I started playing that game that time. And then I would make a decision, and then I would think, do I really want to make that decision? And then I would go back. I would go back to that save point before that decision and make the other decision and see what that one was for.
Using time machines. Jeez, oh man.
What was that? The problem that I have with those games is I'll play it and I'll choose yes, I like the party, and he says something completely different, so I'm like, nope, that's not what I wanted. Hit escape, restart this conversation.
Yeah, that's a good point. It rarely reflects exactly what you think it's going to reflect. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I totally see what you're talking about. As someone who's played a ton of video games, I've played an absolute ton of video games. Destiny came out, and then the control, you will find that once you've gotten used to Destiny's control, absolutely, positively, nothing else plays like a Destiny. And that itself alone is going to make you not want to play these other games. I just tried out that. Good point. I just tried out that Nathan Drake Uncharted free level on the PlayStation 4, and I could see why people would like it. I just need way tighter mechanics than what they offered there. And so I'm just not going to buy that. It's been really difficult for somebody who enjoys playing all kinds of video games to even play something that's not Destiny. So be on the lookout for that. You know, pick up things at a discount because you'll play them for a short time and then that'll be it.
Halo.
You know, speaking of Halo, like I've just been absolutely positively rejecting everything Halo since Destiny was even announced, and I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna pick it up because of Forge mode. Like I have to pick it up because of Forge mode. But it's interesting because I'm usually on top of what's going to be happening in these games, like different modes and things like this. And I've just not looked into it at all. So when I pick it up, it's going to be a nice surprise because I haven't followed that, you know, where's the hunt or whatever it is. I don't care. I don't care about any of that. You know,
you haven't been listening.
No, not at all.
No, man. Audio grimoire basically, and it is phenomenal. Like if you're any kind of Halo fan, it's just story, man. It's not like it's going to spoil anything. No, but it's a phenomenal audio.
It's not that I'm worried. It's not that I'm worried that it's going to spoil things. It's that I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about any of it. Like I don't feel like they're going to do a good job with it. You know, Halo 4 was a serious letdown in my eyes. And so, I mean, it could be cool. From what I've seen in this last week or whatever, it does look cool, but it's just not. It just doesn't have me. It just doesn't have me like you're saying, MysticRose. There's something about Destiny like this, the setting, and you know, there's just something to it.
Yeah. Funny. When they came out with the second live trailer, I made everybody at work watch it over and over and over again. When the one warlock says, "Let's find out," and jumps into the hole, I thought immediately, I want to do that. I'm going to go skydiving. And I am. On my birthday, I'm going to do a tandem skydive.
Awesome. Oh, man. Serious?
Serious,
that's awesome.
Just because
that's
of that.
Awesome.
That's way awesome. I want to go skydiving, but I've never even been in a plane. So probably my first time in a plane shouldn't be me jumping out of the plane.
Probably not.
Okay, anything else for MysticRose before we move on? Excellent.
Oh.
What?
Uh-oh. What's that, River?
I was gonna say, so do you plan on playing Halo eventually one of these days? Because that is something near and dear to my heart and what got me into first-person shooters in the first place.
I will be picking it up day one.
No, not you.
Oh.
You asked about MysticRose. I don't want to ask you about Halo. I know you've played Halo.
You know, I don't know. It's I work full time. I have stuff that I do outside of that. I don't know about splitting my time, and if Halo's as good as the friends of mine have said it is, then I'm going to be torn between both games.
Yeah. One of these
I may
days
get it to try
you'll get
it.
to it.
Yeah. Because the story sounds amazing.
So awesome.
Well, and now I have Windows 10, so I have Cortana on my desktop. So
I know. I love her.
I wanted a Windows phone when I heard they were going to do that.
Me too. I think I'm going to switch from my iPhone and get me a Windows phone now.
Then you won't be able to use that sweet Destiny app anymore, huh?
Oh, womp womp.
Do you not use it anyways?
No, I use it sometimes whenever I'm wanting to check stuff, but it's not like I can't go to the Bungie.net on my phone.
I suppose there is that. Does
Sony make a Windows phone?
I don't know.
If Sony makes a Windows phone, you can remote play directly from the phone, even link your DS4 to it.
Oh, look at that, River.
So I had a question for Mystic. As someone whose entire video game experience comes from playing Destiny, more temporary current problems aside, what do you feel like is Destiny's biggest problem? Like, as if you could change one thing about it for yourself, in a selfish way, even, whatever, just for you, what would you change? What do you think its biggest problem is?
Well, I wouldn't call it a problem in Destiny, but if I could make them do one thing, it would be like automatic tracking for your gun. So I have a real hard time shooting from the hip, but that's just me. Gosh, the biggest problem, I guess, the drops.
Yeah.
When you go through a mission or something, and I heard when they had this new one, they said that the drop, whatever, had been adjusted so that it would take into account your light level and the weapons that you already had and armor you already had. And so I thought, okay, and it seemed to work like that for the first few weeks. And now I have like 290 weapons. I'm not getting anything higher than that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. They have been struggling with loot and getting that right since the start of Destiny. I mean, they keep changing the way we level things up. They let you re-roll, then they don't let you re-roll, and it's hard to even plan for the future when they keep changing the systems around like that.
Yeah.
And I could totally see that. Especially like you said, you work full time. You have a limited amount of gaming time. You choose to spend it all with Destiny right now, but you value that time. So if you keep getting drops that aren't going to raise you, then
Right.
I could definitely see that as being a concern.
Yeah, I might play less, or if I get on, because I've got to grind out so many engrams to see that if I get something that I can use to level up existing weapons, it's not going to be as fun.
Yeah.
Totally understandable. There are a lot of people in the community right now that feel similar to you. They've made changes to the drop rates of some of the materials we're going to get into a little bit later, but especially, I think, without getting into it too much, one of the concerns I saw expressed by someone in the community was, I think it might have even been, I don't know. Actually, I think it was one of the guys from Planet Destiny that said this, but he would rather see people who have a lot of time to put into the game have an overabundance of materials than people who have a limited amount of time to put into the game have a drought.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very important sentiment that Bungie needs to consider, is that, not everybody has, 80 hours a week they can put into their video game to try to farm things out. And that, the people with more limited time, their time's valuable too.
Yep, exactly. And I just have to say, I'm really sorry I missed the loot cave in the first release. I did not know enough. Oh, it just looked like fun.
Yeah, don't be sorry.
It was a great community experience.
Oh yeah.
Not just because of the loot, just because just the whole scenario was super amusing. I mean, to the point where Bungie put a memorial in the game for it.
Yeah, that's what I mean, is to see a whole bunch of people standing outside shooting into a cave just would have been hysterical.
Okay, so you stumbled upon something there that's very interesting, and it is a really great, awesome example of something that's special in Destiny that they need more of, because I didn't want to know where the loot cave was when it was out. Like, I had read about it, but I never bothered going to find it because I didn't want that to be my game experience, just shooting into the cave. It didn't seem very awesome. And then I found my way to Skywatch at some point, and I thought, and there was just a bunch of dudes standing there on this rock, and I thought, well, what's going on over here? And that moment of wondering what these other people were doing was really magical. It was really cool to walk up and see people prepared to do this. And then, the guys started coming out and they shot at them, and I was like, oh, here it is. And so I hung out there for about half an hour, because here it is, and all these people are doing it, and they, it really was bringing them together. There was this, here's what we're doing, and I've seen that, they kind of focused that in with those wolves showing up. People would show up for those wolves, and then when the sleeper simulant came out, and people were looking for, war sats on Mars. It had that same feeling. Like, here, I've stumbled across people who are waiting. These people are just waiting for this to happen. And that is a magical feeling. So from a community standpoint, I do feel for you not being able to be part of that loot cave thing.
Yeah, that experience.
Yeah.
Our experience. What's that?
I was going to say, speaking of war stats, I would like to see better loot drops for the public events. Because when it gets to the point, when you look at a public event and it's like, is anybody there? I want to try that by myself. No. And the last two I didn't get anything that showed up in the tower.
Yeah, have they taken that away?
Oh yeah, they took away the packages. You don't get packages anymore. You just get motes of light.
I liked the packages.
Now, I believe they did increase the number of motes you get now from what they were when TTK first dropped in this most recent update on Tuesday. I think they increased it from like 3 to 5 or something like that, motes of light for public events. So you're still not getting much of a reward. It's just a couple motes of light, but that's what they're at currently.
Okay.
Alrighty then. If that is it, why don't we get to Agrios and what's going on in the world of Destiny?
Sounds good. So, we were just mentioning the update earlier this week. We had update 2.0.1 drop. This one brought with it the Eververse Trading Company. Tess Evers returned from her vacation and is now back at the station tower. They added a new currency, silver, that can be purchased from the console stores. Tess's booth has been given a facelift to reflect her new venture with the Eververse Trading Company. Lord Celadon has returned from his hiatus and brings with it new wares for the Iron Banner challengers. Players who may have deleted their pre-order ghost shells after the Taken King launch can now obtain them from the speaker again. They fixed an issue where some of the Taken King Collector's Edition purchasers did not receive their shaders. Those can all be obtained in the kiosk now. And they also fixed an issue where some of the Year 1 special order emblems and shaders were not appearing in collections. So it appears, as far as I can tell now, all the previous emblems and everything are accounted for, so there should be no fear in deleting any that you have. They all appear to be there now.
Okay, so hold on one second. I want to stop you there to catch up with River and also add MysticRose to this. So last week, River, everybody on the panel agreed that this Eververse Trading Company and selling wares, these microtransactions, was awesome. Everybody said yes, it was cool. And you weren't here. So, River, I would like to get your opinion on these emotes. And then, Mystic River, I'd love to get your opinion on these emotes. And then I'd like to go down the line as quickly as possible and find out what everybody purchased. And also, I'd like to talk about Leopard Stealth having 31,000 silver in his bank. So, River, what is your vote? Just give me a quick yes or no. Are you excited about this? Is it good for Destiny? I think you're muted. Or you're thinking about it.
Yes.
Okay, it's Mystic River, yes or no?
It's MysticRose, by the way.
Mystic River.
Damn,
I was waiting.
What now?
We are one, Mystic.
You are now.
Yeah.
MysticRose, what is your take on this?
I think as long as they stay with cosmetic stuff, it's okay. There's the fact that you can only equip one of those at a time, where you might want to get 2 or 3 and string them together is kind of too bad. But
Totally.
It's kind of fun. I got one, and I equipped it.
Okay, so what did you get?
It's I can't think of what it's called. It makes the person looks like, why me? Why? What is going on? And so I liked that. I wanted to use that on the Cryptarch the next time I got something I didn't want.
Right. Situational emotes would be amazing. Sometimes I want to bow to people. Sometimes I want to say safe,
Mm-hmm.
Agrios, what did you buy?
I did not buy anything yet.
You did not buy anything yet. Did you? You went and looked at them though, yeah?
Yeah, I did. I checked them all out. I checked out the previews that the community members got ahead of time as well.
Okay,
good.
So you're saving the silver for what?
Well, I had considered, like, I don't know. I wasn't, like, super drawn to any of them. Some of them are cool, but there's not that many of them, and everybody is going to kind of have them and been doing them a whole bunch over the next few weeks. So, like, I more interested in potentially, like, equipping and flaunting super rare, hard to get things. Like, they were hard to get emotes out in the wild that were hard to obtain or find, or you had to buy the rights from tests once you found the token in the wild too, or something, like, combined. Then they'd be more kind of alluring to me. But as it is, they're kind of a little too cosmetic for me to care too much about. And I didn't feel like spending any extra money right now to buy any more silver than they gave me. Now, they did say that if you play between now and Christmas, they're going to give you more silver. But I was looking at some of the details, and in all actuality, we were all given 200 free silver for the launch of Eververse Trading Company. And there's a separate deal that if you play between like August 14th and November 17th or something like that, you get another 200 silver. So actually, half of that 400 initial silver wasn't initial silver. It was bonus silver for playing. So I'm wondering if that's not the extra they were referring to, like that we already have.
Interesting. That's a good point. Jez, what did you buy? Jez, are you there?
Oh, unmuted instead of unmuting.
That was so funny. I heard.
Yeah. So yeah, I have Bring It On. I got Enthusiastic Dance, which is obviously the Carlton, Slow Clap, Formal Bow, Blowing a Kiss, Sorrow, Cower, and Watch Your Back.
Nice.
Awesome. So which one do you choose to use when you're going out?
Usually Bring It On. The Matrix, like, hand wave.
Yeah, that one's funny. Okay, I want to get back to the idea of these being merely cosmetic after we get to River through this. Crimson Warlock, what did you buy?
I'm still saving mine. I haven't quite decided. There's a couple that I want, so I haven't really bought anything yet. But I definitely think the Sorrow one will be the one where you like fall down on your legs or your knees and just cry. Like that one,
Right.
I think, is pretty good.
That one is really funny. My favorite part of that animation is where he gets back up onto his feet. It just looks so real, like the way he puts his feet up. It looks really cool. And that's a great one to use in a certain situation. But I can't see myself even purchasing that just because I would have to have it equipped before something happened, or else
I know the perfect one. And this was a great picture I saw. It was just a bunch of guardians surrounding Rahul, and they were all in the sorrow position.
Okay, so what did you get, River?
I didn't actually use any real cash, but I did buy Bring It On and the Throat Slit.
The what? The throat slit.
Yeah, where you doing the cut the throat.
Yeah,
I guess
your
so.
back.
That's funny. That's really funny.
I was planning on spending some money, but that Halo 5 trailer really got me. So I'm going to spend that money on that instead.
Yeah. So I've been thinking a lot about this, about how these don't affect gameplay. You know, they've been talking about these are cosmetic only, and I don't think that this is true because, okay, so I bought the bow. The only thing I've bought so far is the bow. I'm going to get the bow, and I'm going to get the either congrats or the one where you just put your hands in the air and then clap. Like, I think that one's really cool. But so I've been using this bow, and I think it really is affecting the game because there was a couple times in this last Iron Banner, which I am loving, by the way, where I would kill somebody and then I would bow to them. And I actually think that might piss them off more than if I was to use like a Bring It On, you know, like I like bowing to them, I think really pissed them off because for 2 games in a row, we beat these guys. And then the third game, they were on our team. And as soon as they realized they were on our team, they left. I think that they were just really poor losers. I think that this has a much greater effect on the actual game than they're letting on because I've bowed to them. I've said, "Hey, good job." Except for I'm the one who beat them out. So I started noticing these guys singling me out, like not trying to shoot these other dudes, but because these other dudes are on my team and just trying to win, they weren't winning.
So you found a taunt button.
Yeah, but it was unintentional. I didn't want to buy those other ones because all of those are taunts. You know, like the slit your throat one. That is a taunt. That is a, hey, I'm watching you. You know. so if you really want to piss somebody off, use the bow. I'm definitely going to be buying the enthusiastic dance because as soon as it was one of the very first things that I thought of when I started thinking about whether how I wanted to spend my time, in the game. I wanted to have that dance. That dance is great. That dance is fun to look at. That dance is, and it just keeps going. I think that that's important too. But I will definitely be buying that one because really I want to support Bungie. I love what they're doing. I love the game. I love how they're giving us information. As much as I just want more, as much as I just want more answers and I want more of everything, you know, I want them to succeed. And so I will be purchasing more of those. Now, if they want to add in ships and shaders, you know, like, or shaders for guns or things like this, like I will be purchasing those too. River and Rose, would they be pushing it with ships and shaders? Because they've already given us quite a wide array of ships and shaders. Would that be pushing it, River?
I would like to defer to the lady, please.
Rose.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
You know, shaders, they've got shaders for sale already. So it just depends on what kind of currency you wanted to use to buy them. And if there was a particular shader you wanted, you'd get it from one vendor rather than the other one. So shaders are 6 of 1. But
what if they produced new shaders that were exclusively purchasable with silver?
I'd have to look at them. I would be tempted.
But do you think that's okay, or do you think that's going in a bad direction? Since it's still cosmetic, is it okay? Or since it changes the way people look, maybe for even camouflaging in Crucible, or I mean, that's pushing it out there in an extreme case. Do you think that that's going too far?
No, I think it's okay. There's already one shader that Evil Levante has that when I look at it, it's like camouflage.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about getting it for Venus because it's this kind of green camouflage.
River.
So,
It's kind of in a weird place for me because while I personally don't think shaders and ships should be sold for real money, I don't think that should be the case because there's the specific stuff, specific shaders and ships that you get in game for accomplishing certain tasks, like Chatterwhite. You get that from, where do you get that from? From Atheon, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's showing to everybody, yes, I defeated the Vault of Glass. So there's a story behind that. And I think if you put shaders and ships and stuff like that out for sale, you're kind of watering down that part of the experience. On the other hand, though, I am the owner of the collector's edition, shaders and emblems and crap, and I had no problem forking out the money for that thing. But I think if it's going to be a continuation, like it's going to be pretty much a continuation for the foreseeable future, I will not be buying those.
Interesting.
So there were some questions that we're going to get to later in the update. And one of the questions was, someone data mined files that prove Tess will be selling King's Fall consumables. You said you wouldn't do that. Why are you doing that? And the response is, we're not doing that. The files in question were actually first uncovered some time ago, well before the launch of Eververse Trading Company. They weren't ever intended to be sold in exchange for silver. What you're seeing are remnant files from 3 coins or moldering shard-like items that would have been available from Xur. Ultimately, they decided not to include those in the game. But how do you feel about things like experience and experience boosters and boosters of that nature being sold? Because this is fairly common practice in games that have microtransactions.
Mm-hmm. Now, who is this to? Me and Mystic?
This is to everybody, but yeah, let's start with you, River, since you were just talking.
Go with Mystic because I'm actually getting a phone call right now. I'll have to take it.
Yeah, things that are sold that would improve your performance in the game, no.
Well, not necessarily performance, but allow you to gain experience quicker, say, or to possibly get extra chances at getting loot, but not change your actual skill or performance or deadliness or anything like that.
Well, we already have some of those with the 3 of coins. It changes, it improves your chances of getting an exotic loot drop.
But what about being sold for real money?
No.
Yeah.
A lot of the community line there as well.
Yeah, sounds
That's how I feel about it.
That was that's been the community for like the last week.
In some ways, in addition to the collector's edition stuff, we also had the Prayer of Nepal shader.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. So we already have examples of trading real money for these other Cosmetics. Thank you. I kept thinking customizable because what I really want is just to be able to paint my Guardian and my guns and my ship whatever I want. Like I want to be able to put Guardian 1 on the side of it. I think it would be really cool to put that tri yin yang on the side of my gun. I think that would be really great.
I just want I want a Guild Wars 2 like system where you find different dyes and then you can mix and match them however you want.
Oh, snap. Okay, so I would really love that as well. I would really love to be able to change the rings on those shaders. That would be really cool. That would be really cool, Jez. And that actually preserves some portion of the micro environment that Bungie already has. Here are... Because some of the shaders, they have like this crazy infusion of yellow at some point, and it doesn't show. It doesn't show on that ring, and I'd like to just be able to take that out. Or, oh God, mixing and matching each of those levels would be insane. That's a great
I think
idea.
at the very least, I'd like to be able to adjust which order those rings are in, because some of the shaders look really good on a certain class, but then you switch to a different class, and because their materials are in different places, you have like god awful colors in certain places.
Yep.
Man, that is a great idea.
And I'm going to defer to the whole reason we can't do this, the reason we can't do most of the things we'd really like to be able to do in Destiny is because of them mirroring the whole thing on last gen and being just totally jam packed out of space.
This is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things.
This is the prime example of that.
And that's a really good point too. Crimson Warlock, you had something to say on this?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, talking about microtransactions, the thing about like everyone freaking out of experience, being sold things that boost your experience or leveling things, they'd have to take so much out of the game that we've already been given. And your primary, special, heavy telemetries, like if they were gonna do it, those would disappear and be behind a paywall. Motes of light would disappear and be behind a paywall. And so I don't think we're ever going to see that, because it would take away from so much of what we've had for so long, update-wise.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, we've already seen it with the Red Bull boosters. They're experience boosters that people went out and paid money for. It's just a fairly mild form of it.
Yeah, but I mean, so basically that's what, an equipment telemetry then? You're more than anything. And it's boosting your experience gain, but it'll help you level your gear faster. But at the same time, like, what does that matter? Okay, I'm spending 15 motes instead of 50 on an item, but it's not like motes are hard to come by in the game anymore.
That's a good point.
I'm just saying I don't think it's going to happen just because of everything that we already have. I'm sure that store is probably just going to remain pretty cosmetic only.
River.
I really think we're probably not going to see the XP boost, probably, even though we've seen the focus light, right, from Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if it does come around, though, because it really doesn't affect anybody's gameplay. I mean, it'll give you a boost for 10 minutes, experience boost, or like completely level up a subclass. And certain people could really use that kind of thing. I know me, for playing on Xbox One for this past year, I have all my characters like pretty far up there, but then moving over to PlayStation 4 and having to start all that crap from scratch, that's tough. That is almost disheartening, having to redo all three character classes for each character class, basically each subclass for each character class. That's going to be a long freaking road. And if I could spend money to freaking skip all that and just get to the good stuff like I am on Xbox One, I would probably pay for that.
Well, I mean,
I have to admit, I would too.
Right?
That's exactly why other games do it. And I mean, players of those games define that as still not pay-to-win status. Because in no way does it make you kill anything quicker or anything like that. You just get to the point to be competitive with all the other people who have time to put in. And instead of putting your time in, you go to work and earn some money and put some money in instead. So, it's a very gray area with gamers, but I personally don't have much of a problem with it.
I think,
and you get those new players who are coming in who might have some buddies of theirs who are vets like us, and they want to catch up and get to the good stuff so that we can all play together. And I definitely encourage that. Bring these new people in, try to get them to where they need to be, and let's have some fun in Destiny.
I kind of expect people to already have their classes maxed out when I meet them in the world, just because I have all my classes maxed out. So that seems like something that just speeds along the inevitable, but that's not, I don't feel like that's giving them any greater of an advantage over me specifically, just them being able to speed up their experience. There's already some ways in the game, and you guys brought up a really good point with the fact that buying those cans of Red Bull and then that focused light, like that's a really, I don't know. There is something magical about putting it into a different product instead of it just being sold in game. I think that shielded Bungie from a lot of flack right up in front, is because you bought this product and then you just got this experience booster. It's not like, here, add another 10 light to your character and that's going to change things in the Iron Banner or Trials of Osiris. So why don't we move this along? But first, Jez.
Well, they've also sold more than just experience that way. I mean, they've sold a vehicle, an in-game vehicle, through that very same method. Now, eventually, it'll be available to everybody. But for a limited time, it was only available through purchasing Red Bull cans and getting the quest to actually unlock it.
Man, I gotta know, how do you get that?
Just as
Where
fast.
is it?
The vehicle is just as fast as the year one. So, and for a lot of players, it wasn't. You're not really missing anything until the quest comes unlocked.
The bonus for it is that it's also a tumbler.
Yeah,
that is true.
It's a tumbler. It's faster than the old tumbler once you finish everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it?
It's through a quest.
Amanda Holiday gives it to you first.
It's makes Vanguard smile
or something. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I saw that and I was wondering if that's what that was.
It's got the gray background.
That's the Red Bull exclusive quest right there, and you get the special Sparrow reward from that.
Got it. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, Jez, I have to know, did Leopard Stealth spend over $300? Because the screenshot that I saw had 31,000 silver in his bank, or in his listing, and he also had purchased every single one of those emotes. Was that photoshopped, or did he really spend over $300, or some other option?
So I did the math, and to get that much, minus the 400, he would have to buy 35,600 silver, which works out to be like $306.
Okay.
Plus the bonus?
Right. That's including the bonuses, I assume, right?
Yeah, that's including the bonuses. It's 15 packs of 2,300 and 1 pack of 1,100.
Okay.
But he didn't buy it. That's spoilers. He did not buy it.
He has a kid. That was my call.
He has a kid. $300.
I can continue to respect him.
Continue, yes.
That is not something that he would do.
Because I saw that and I thought, man, like, I'm jealous.
That's dedication.
That is dedication. That right there is paying, somebody's work week or something similar,
Through trial and error, I just figured out how many packs he would have to buy just to see if it would have added up, just to make sure that he had like a obtainable amount of gold, silver.
Uh-huh.
So
thank you.
He could have, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Now, is it capped at all?
It doesn't appear to be.
Well, not at 31,000.
I don't think anyone's found out, but chances are, if it's capped, it's probably capped at the same as Glimmer.
Well, it's more than that already. If he actually had 31,000 silver.
No, but he didn't.
Are you sure he doesn't have it? I know you said he didn't buy it, but it doesn't mean he's not doing testing for Bungie, and they gave him an absurd amount of silver to go buy the emotes and test with, because I know he's in their early testing programs.
But the problem is, it's no longer early testing.
No, they don't just leave it in there. It just doesn't cost Bungie anything.
If he had that much, well, first of all, if he had that much in like the early testing, he wouldn't be able to take pictures of it and show it to everyone.
Okay.
And they would not give it to him on the live game because they don't give it to their employees, let alone they would give it to Leopard.
Well, I'm glad that you asked for clarification, Agrios, because I was thinking the first thing that you said, and to hear Jez explain it again made much more sense. Okay. Anything else on this? Back to Agrios. Moving on.
Okay, moving on. So Yeah, where did I even leave it? Hold on, I gotta get back to where I left off.
Something about Iron Banner, which is awesome. I'm so loving Iron Banner. I'm so sitting fools down. Got to play with River. Got to play with River soon so we can sit some fools down together.
Was this before the glitch?
You know, I haven't even come across the glitch.
It makes the Iron Banner a freaking joke.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Let's
it's
just talk
freaking
about all that right now.
okay.
Let's do it.
Let's just jump ahead. I have no problem jumping around. Let's just go into that now. So we'll go back into the rest of the update here shortly, but in the weekly update, they start off by addressing this glitch that you've brought up. There's a Night Stalker glitch where they're very vague in the update, but I think we can be a little bit more clear here. If you have the graviton, the graviton, I can't remember the name of the helmet. The graviton something.
Isn't it best to not spread how to do it?
Oh,
more?
hardcore people are
be-
the ones that listen to us for one, and two, if it's out
all
there
over
and
YouTube.
that
It's
can
all
do
over
it, you
YouTube.
need to know to like be prepared to like fight against it or know when you're seeing it, so that I'm always a big fan of everybody should know everything. It's knowledge, and if it needs fixed, it'll get fixed quicker the more people that know it. Actually,
Power
so.
to the people.
I can understand why Bungie wouldn't, because that's literally like the face of the game. Let's make it more available to the average person than possible. But if you're a follower of our show and you haven't seen it, know about it already, that's just unlikely.
Yeah, I agree. I very much agree.
So yeah, it's a Night Stalker glitch where if you're wearing the new helmet, that the faceplate glows all purple, and it's called help me out with the name, Graviton something. I meant to grab it.
Graviton Forfeit.
Graviton Forfeit. If you're wearing that with the leveled up and you have the Night Stalkers set up to the appropriate perks, you can pop your super and shoot 2 of your arrows off and hit the pause button and come back out of the pause screen and your super's back up to full again. Fire 2 more off, pause again, unpause, full super, fire 2, rinse and repeat for eternity.
That's crazy.
Till the end of the match.
Wow.
That's crazy.
You know, the funny thing is that I'd say about this, though, is while that's crazy, Sunbreakers are even crazier, and that's intended.
You know, I don't feel like Sunbreakers are OP. I don't. You know why? Because I had to meet a gruesome end from that Blade Dancer for so long. And really, it's about time that the Titans had something that wasn't either a protective bubble that might as well be just made of soap in the Crucible, or a one hit try and kill people. It's about time that the Titans had something that was going to make them a force to be reckoned with in the Crucible.
Striker Titans have the one super to shut down every single Blade Dancer.
That's what are you talking about? You talking about the Fist of Havoc?
Yeah. You'll die more to a Fist of Havoc as a Blade Dancer than you expect, than you realize.
Or shotgun.
Yeah, or shotgun now. Golden Gun is better than Blade Dancer.
Is it? Yeah, I just don't. You know what would make me think the Sunbreaker was OP is if I got killed by the Sunbreaker and then I respawned and then I got killed by that same Sunbreaker. That's what would make me turn it up. Because seriously, I'm certain you guys remember that it was like a infographic that showed who was winning in Crucible, and it was like right at the top was all hunters, and then it went warlock, and then at the very, very bottom, was Titans, and the very, very bottom, was the Ward of Dawn users. So yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like it's overpowered. You know, it's dangerous. Okay. Yeah. Does it make you
this for a comparison? In Vanilla Destiny, hunters had 2 subclasses. Both were really good in PvP. And guess where else they weren't good? They weren't good in PvE. And now Titans have a very, very, very good one in PvP. And it's also very, very good in PvE.
Yeah, I just feel like there's
Like
if you're trying to take on a Sunbreaker head on, then you're an idiot. Like you have to hear that,
Oh, yeah.
and then you have to
No
move.
doubt.
Like it's like if you're crossing the street and you hear a car coming at you honking its horn, you don't just sit there and think, "Oh, I can do this. I can take this guy out." You got to move. You got to move. You have to. You have
to. The problem is that there's not very good. There's not a. No one has figured out a counter to them yet. When you have the Titan set up with the slightly heat-seeking hammers that has the healing power. Whenever his hammers make a kill,
splash
I've
damage.
seen an entire team of 6 team shotting him, and he wiped the whole team out.
Yeah,
so
that's
I
awesome.
think but a Blade Dancer couldn't do that.
Yeah, it could.
He could not.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen Blade Dancers wipe out entire teams. Come on,
I think that if you put a shotgun to the head of a Sunbreaker Titan and pull the trigger, he should be dead or almost dead.
Sunbreakers have more armor than Blade Dancers ever did.
By a large margin.
Yeah.
Also, Sunbreakers do not take any damage when their hammer explodes right in front of them. Like like Voidwalkers do. Every Voidwalker super, if it's too close, you can almost kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was in a game earlier with a Sunbreaker. He had 8 kills because of his super. He got an 8 kill streak because of one super. And that was us running away from him. We were trying to hide from this guy. Like, it was kind of ridiculous of how many kills he was able to get because of how the super was.
Right? So we just have to be smarter.
Well, no, I just feel like it needs to be more like a golden gun. 3 to 4 supers or the whole hammers or the full duration. Like, that's what you get for your super.
I think that I'm not so concerned about the offensive power personally, and I don't think it's as big of a problem as a lot of people are making it out to be. But I think there is a slight armor issue. I think there needs to be a consideration for the fact that if you have the healing turned on, that the armor's too high.
Well, they made a subclass that has the armor of a Sunsinger with the range of a golden gun with the healing of a Blade Dancer.
Dude, he's got 5 hammers.
And
5 hammers.
Also,
and they do splash damage.
He has grenades that stick to you.
That's true.
Freaking A, man.
Hey, you guys. Sharks.
So do Sunsingers.
Sharks joined us. Sharks joined us. He said, "Yep, the counter is run and hide and let your team die instead." Lol. And seriously though, like you hear that, and if nobody on your team is doing that, then you have to run and hide. Like I honestly feel like this is not as big of a deal as people are bringing it out to be. Like, I railed against the Blade Dancer. I railed against it because you're basically invincible and you're just killing the crap out of everybody.
But you have to get next to them.
Yeah, and that was never a problem for people. They killed me all the time. And I just feel like it's a lot easier to dodge around a building or something than it is, this person is all of a sudden right up on you and slashing you. This might also have something to do with the fact that I'm more of a mid-range player, so that when I see that Sunbreaker do that, I just run and hide and let my team get killed, like Sharks said.
Well, see, I actually start firing, try to stick a grenade to them right off the bat if I can as I run away. And then I start firing on them. And as soon as they drop one person and I see their life meter start to shoot back up, then I run away. Otherwise, I've team shot quite a few down with like 1 or 2 other people. But they don't have the healing turned on. If they have the healing turned on, they're impossible. That's when I turn around and run the other way.
I just run anyways.
I was going to say that Sunbreaker and Unlimited Night Stalker Super makes Iron Banner freaking lame as hell.
Yes.
That's one of those things that, like, even though I'm aware of the Night Stalker glitch, I could never do it in PvP. I would feel like an ass. Like, maybe if I were, like, Q-syncing with all Guardian 1 members, I'd do it to all you guys, but I couldn't do it in, like, public. Oh, I feel so horrible. Like, I just couldn't do it.
Only to your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, free
I
reign to do
also
it
say
back.
the tether is pretty annoying when like they shoot the tether, but then the hunter hides behind the tether orb in your line of sight because it's a perfect shield for them and they can shoot through it. But you
Man,
can't.
that's awesome. I
It's
can't wait
so
to use
annoying.
that. Thank
It
you,
is so
Crimson
annoying.
Warlock. I can't wait to use that. You know what? And you just brought it up right there. That's the reason why. That's the reason why I think probably Sunbreakers aren't that big of a deal. It's because I've shut them down before. I've shut down all kinds of dudes. Blade Dancers. I way play Night Stalker in PvE or PvP and PvE really. But
that's the only counter right now. That's literally the only counter right now.
Oh,
Suppression
man.
grenade from a Titan or the shot from the Night Stalker's bow.
Even the Night Stalker's bow, a direct hit, sometimes won't activate in time for him to kill you. And then if you're not alive for it to activate, your shot does never activate.
It does not?
No.
Are you
it
sure?
has to activate. There's a slight delay after it hits till it activates, and if you die in that delay time, it never it just sits there and glows.
Interesting.
Like I've seen footage of a guy get hit like in the foot with an arrow, and he just keeps swinging his hammers.
I've seen it happen in PvE where someone shot a Night Stalker bow, a blast, and it's landed, but then they've died before it activated, and the little glowing orb from the Night Stalker bow actually just stays there permanently. It never goes away.
I've seen that too. I've seen that too.
So,
all right. Anything else from this? All right. Happy birthday, Sharks!
Happy birthday, Sharks!
Yeah, happy birthday.
Remy gave you a big happy birthday in the beginning of the show, but we know you weren't here yet, so.
He was out enjoying some real world activities on his very happy birthday. I hope he had a happy birthday. I hope it was worth it. Not coming to the show. What's up with that?
Because I'm here.
All right, moving on.
Okay, so moving on. Where was I here? Let's pick up where we were just talking about that Night Stalker issue with the Crucible here. That has led to them postponing the Trials of Osiris. The community asked for it. As soon as this glitch came out, they're like, "Oh no, we can't do trials yet," and Bungie agrees. They are going to postpone the trials till further notice. While it was formally set to release this weekend, they said they're working on a final fix for the bug itself, and as soon as possible, when they have a solid commitment, they'll make a formal announcement of when the Trials of Osiris will begin again. Let's stick on the whole PvP thing right now. We were just discussing. We mentioned the Iron Banner briefly. With Iron Banner returning for the first time in year 2, senior designer Derek Carroll came forth to explain how power still matters. The power curve is a way of measuring the damage you do to players with a differing light level. Remy, do you by chance have the graphs that he gave us handy?
Is it in the weekly update?
It's not. It's in the news article just before that. The power still matters. It's its own article.
Okay. I sure do. Let's get those.
So, yeah, go ahead and grab them. So he says there's a lot of secret math that gets done behind the scenes, and he's not going to get into it. But for the purposes of the article, he wants us to assume that every 10 units of light equals 1 level on the graph that Remy's pulling up for us here. Now, that means it seems as though they're treating the light levels every 10 levels similar to how, light level 32, 33, 34 would have been before. Now we have light level 290 would be kind of like 29, 300 would be kind of like 30. So every 10 would be like 1 level. Noting similarities in the curve of the Taken King and the original launch curve, he says there's just a lot more room between full power and full sadness, given that there's a lot more room between a new character and an endgame player in the Taken King. So being that we're twice the number of levels as the original Destiny, that's why there's similarities in the curves. Next, he focuses on the top portion, showing the highest level competitors, and states that the part of the graph, this is the part of the graph where the most competitive players will find themselves, so it's worth noting that the power curve for the Taken King is more aggressive than any previous release for the first 3 levels or so. So when he says first 3 levels or so, he's really referring to 310 to 300 as the first level, 300 to 290 as the second level, and 290 to 280 as the third level. And as you can see, I mean, there's very little change between those light levels on the graph. So anyone above, 270 or so, you're not going to notice any difference at all for the most part while fighting them. It certainly, in most cases, isn't going to change the number of bullets that it takes to kill you from most guns, which is more important than the minute damage changes. Lord
I don't
Saladin,
really know what we're looking at here. This level delta, like this.
Yeah.
This,
what it is each one of those numbers across the top represents 10 light levels. So from the very first line at 0 to 1, that's going from a person who has 310 light to 300 light. You can see that there's almost no change by moving over just one node at the very top left of the graph.
Gotcha.
If you move over 2 or 3 nodes, by the time you're at the end of the third node, you're all the way down to 270 light already. So that whole big long drop-off is for people trickling the whole way down to level 1 from 40, and the various light levels in between that would all encompass. So there's a lot of people are saying, wondering what light level they need to get themselves to be competitive. The minimum recommended by Bungie was 230, I believe, which would make sense because, as you can see, even the whole way down to 270, 260 light, right across the top, just 3-4 nodes of that graph, there's almost no change in power.
I see what you're saying.
It would have been a lot more helpful if they just would have labeled across the top of the graph with the number of light, but I think that would have actually made it clear to a lot more people that power doesn't matter when you have anything over 250.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So don't to drop your light to run better equipment if you need to be more competitive as far as your discipline, your intellect, or just having specific perks goes. Don't feel like you can't compete in Iron Banner just because you haven't managed to level up all your gear to tip-top shape.
You know what's sad about that is I infused accidentally my my magical Suros DIS 43 just for this specific Iron Banner, and knowing that I didn't mean to do it, number one, and then knowing number two that one bit of light level doesn't change squat, it makes me doubly sad. So if you're out there right now with your Suros DIS 43, hold it close and tell it how much you appreciate it because I miss it. I miss mine. I have to use my Tuonela SR4, which isn't bad, but I'm not really interested in that Amalon crap. It's just not my thing.
Was
Suros.
that the scout rifle?
Yeah.
What was the perks you had on that?
I had some kind of counterbalance, something that added a nice bit of stability. I had almost all the way on range, and I also had the perk that allowed you to keep a little bit steady of an aim under fire, and that's really the perk that I've found is most useful in PvP, is just having that little bit of more control when you're under fire, because it's a firefight, boom boom boom, back and forth, and just being able to have that little bit of better control really pushes it well. It was one of the first ones I even picked up from the gunsmith for Arms Day.
I actually have one, and I have the counterbalance and perfect balance on this thing, as well as a scope that improves target acquisition, and I barely have to move my thumbstick to aim at the head.
Right,
it's pretty damn sweet.
You should get yourself a Suros DIS 47.
That's what I keep hearing.
I don't like it. I don't like the 47. It fires a little bit faster, but the impact is a little bit lower. So I've noticed that I have to shoot things more times, a lot faster. And I think that I'm willing to wait out just that little bit of additional time for rate of fire in order for the amount of damage it puts out. I've tried a bunch of different 47s, and I just haven't found one that really speaks to me yet.
Did you see that one that MTash has?
I don't think so.
Okay, he's got the one that has counterbalance, but it also has full auto.
Oh wow.
Oh man, it is sick.
Okay, yeah, I definitely
sick.
haven't seen that.
A scout rifle.
A scout rifle.
I didn't know scout rifles could still follow with full auto.
Right? But it's got so much stability. He just fires full auto, and he's practically getting all crits all the time without having to
I
move
legitimately
it.
thought they took that off of the scout rifle's rule for taking thing.
He's got a video on it, man, and it's so awesome to see.
You know, that might save my finger a little bit of wear and tear. I'm gonna look into that.
Definitely.
Yeah,
is that the 40? That's the 47.
Yeah, I think it's the 47. I'm pretty sure it's the 47. I'll have to
that would
verify
be nuts because the firing rate is noticeably higher than the 40.
Well, the 47 is much like the old N7 Shadow and the Deadshot Luna. Rolling full auto, you basically have a scout rifle that fires faster than a Suros, like when you're aimed at sights, but hits harder.
Man, that sounds awesome.
Well, I went a full auto scout just because I loved my Vision of Confluence.
Glad I didn't infuse that bad boy. Which brings me to a point. I need an additional level of locking on my equipment. Like, I lock all of the equipment that I absolutely don't want to get rid of. I need there to be another click of that stick that will put a little star instead of the locked button so that I don't accidentally infuse it. Like, I need an additional level to locking.
You can't infuse locked items.
Garbage save and save forever. Because he sometimes deletes the ones he wants to save that aren't just garbage. And I've been with him more than once where he's accidentally deleted something he previously had locked. So I know Remy needs this.
Right. And I think that this is something that more than just I would use. Like, I want to be able to star things to know that at some point previously, I've said to myself, I can't get rid of this for any reason. Yeah, sure, there's some things like my shadow price. I don't need a star for that. I don't have a huge influx of those coming in. But every week I buy like 6 items from the gunsmith for Arms Day, at least. And so I just have such a large, like, that's how it happened. I said to myself, oh, this must not be the one. And because I didn't want to take the time to go out and shoot it and make sure, I'm stupid and I did it, and it makes me mad. Give me my star. I mean, even Borderlands has this feature. Borderlands has a feature where you can favorite something so you know not to get rid of it.
Well, the favoriting is just like the locking. You can't infuse locked items.
I know, but you can unlock a locked item and infuse it. But if I had a star instead of a lock, I would know that this was something previously I didn't want to do that with. I lock everything because I don't want to accidentally delete it.
See, that's your problem. You need to not lock things that are disposable to you already.
But how will I know what's disposable to me until I've had a chance to really take a look at it?
See, I don't really have a problem with it, but I understand where Remy's coming from because there's stuff that's literally garbage. It's like as soon as I find a place to infuse this or decide it's ready to delete, I'm deleting it out of there. Then there's other stuff that I'm like, well, this is the best thing in this category I found so far. I'm going to hang on to it, see if I find anything better, maybe level it up and use it and try it out. And then if I don't like it down the road, I'll delete it. But I'm going to lock it for now so I don't accidentally just use it as infusion trash.
Absolutely.
And then there's things that like I just have no intention of ever getting rid of. Some things have crossed into like sentimental territory where it's like, oh, I just love this gun, I'm never going to delete it. And things like that I might favorite. Or like since I was a collector until recently, it looks like I'm probably going to delete a lot of my old collections. Like I wanted to get one of every raid weapon and stuff like that. Well, those are all things I would favorite so that they would, they're in that third tier of I have no intention of ever unlocking this and doing anything with it. So I'm not quite as in the category where it's like I can't live without it as Remy is, but I totally see where he's coming from.
Thank you. We need to move on.
Moving on.
Moving on.
I just want to note that Wolf Bible says over in the chat that he mentions the Herja D pulse rifle, which I'm on the lookout for. It's word's really good on the street that it's a nice pulse rifle, and I'd be looking for one with either full auto or counterbalance because counterbalance works really nicely on the current recoil patterns of pulse rifles.
Well, the Iron Banner pulse rifle, apparently you can roll with complete full stability.
But the stability still just has to do with how far away it comes from central point on the recoil, whereas counterbalance affects the pattern itself. And pulse rifles have the highest horizontal recoil in the game, which makes them go left and right. And counterbalance's perk is that it actually initially eliminates all left and right recoil and makes it all vertical recoil, which is pretty good on a pulse rifle because if anything, you aim a little low for the head and pull up into the head.
I thought that was rodeo.
No, counterbalance.
Got it.
Rodeo, I think reduces how much the pattern changes around, maybe? I forget what exactly rodeo does, but I'm certain counterbalance is the one that makes all recoil vertical recoil and eliminates horizontal recoil.
SDF River in the chat says hacksaw, and it's actually hawksaw, and I've been killed by that thing so many times. I've been killed by things so many times. Like, I'm thinking about picking it up. I'm not a pulse rifle player, but pulse rifles are it right now in Crucible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I get.
Just a little bit faster than Hawksaw, but Hawksaw is right up there, like near top kills as far as things you can buy from the tower.
Man, it's really sweet. Moving on. Okay, so
to continue, Lord Saladin did arrive in the tower this week, bringing with him new boots bearing the new second wind perk, as well as new Iron Banner weapons, including the pulse rifle that Jez mentioned a moment ago, Nerwin's Mercy, and the new Iron Banner sidearm, Iron Wreath D. Also available were new weekly bounties and different daily bounties each day, but less of them. There's only 3 to pick up each day. But being that they're different bounties, it's advisable that even if you're only planning on working on any one character today in the Iron Banner, that you still log into your other characters to pick up whatever new bounties are available that day that your character is not already holding. So that when you do move to work on that character, you have a bunch of bounties that can be accomplished.
Man, that's a really great idea. Sad I haven't been doing that. Continue.
Me.
And although Year 1 Iron Banner emblems, shaders, and class items all still provide the buffs to rep, he also now has new Year 2 variants available. On a side note, something I noticed is when you log into each of the Iron Banner matches, he now says, Iron Banner, control. So now that he specifies that, does that mean we're going to see shortly Iron Banner Mayhem? Iron Banner Rift? You guys think we're going to see other variants?
I don't think you're going to see Iron Banner Mayhem because Mayhem is already the modified part.
Oh, that's a good point. Mm-hmm. But that would still be cool.
Also, Mayhem is very non-competitive.
Or in that case, then Rift. You know, Rift is definitely a competitive game-like mode or whatnot. But I found it odd that they now have the announcer specify Iron Banner Control at the beginning of the matches, almost as though we're going to soon hear Iron Banner some other game mode.
Natural evolution of the game type.
So you think we're going to see Clash and Rift and such then?
Absolutely.
So Agrios brought this up to me last night, and I started thinking what I'd really like to see is some kind of Olympics. I would like to see some kind of, like, here is the Iron Banner, here is the Iron Banner Clash, here is the Iron Banner Control, and then, take the top performing team or players and then give them some kind of medals. Like, I think that would be really cool, because you could go in and try and work all of them. But in order to really be the top, you'd have to pick one. So who is top control players or team? I think that would be really cool. Like, maybe if they took Iron Banner and threw in a dash of trials, like where you chose who you were going to be teamed with, and those were the only people that you could play with for that team. Like, here is team have to have it, and it's consisting of these 3 people, and you move that team up in the ranking instead of maybe individuals. Like, there's just so much that Bungie could do with this, and I think that we're still in just the baby stages of all this, and it's all very exciting. So, continuing?
MysticRose, being that you're newer to the gaming world, how do you feel about PvP, and do you partake in events like the Iron Banner?
I have not done Iron Banner yet. I was planning on doing it this weekend for the first time.
Awesome.
I have done PvP. I have given people a lot of laughs at PvP. I was very excited the other day when I actually got 2 kills.
That's
Awesome.
excellent. Good job.
So that was fun. I was starting to get a little bit more confidence. But
Baby
when
steps.
I first started out, it was the most defeating feeling. I could play 10 matches, spent most of my time dead, and never got anything.
Understandable. I know the feeling. I
Yep.
got into shooters a little late in life myself. Played mainly PVE side of things. So I didn't have a good internet connection at my house for a long time. So I didn't play online competitively at all. So I know when I finally did, it was certainly an eye-opening experience.
And
Yeah,
those
my
kills were
friends
in
usually
Iron
talk me
Banner?
into it. Mine? No.
Yeah, yours.
I haven't played
Yep.
Iron Banner yet.
Okay, so
They
that
were
was regular
in,
Crucible, right?
Yeah, that was a regular Crucible.
Oh man, you're gonna love this weekend then.
I was really hoping Trials was going to be this weekend, so it would
Yes.
siphon off the really competitive
Exactly.
players, and then
Everyone,
leave Iron
gonna be
Banner
so
for the rest
busy.
of us. So, but now,
That's really funny.
no. So,
Well, let me tell you something, MysticRose. Going into especially specifically Iron Banner, it really doesn't matter what you do on your team. It really doesn't. Like as much as that may sound negative, it's really positive. And this is what I tell Flounder when she goes in, because she's not a huge first person player either, is that if you are on a team that's going to win, your team is going to win no matter what you do. And I have a rule that is, if I am the top player on my team is losing. So don't take defeats as this really horrible thing, because it's not your fault. You didn't do that to your team. Your team sucked. Or same thing, you didn't win it for your team. Your team was awesome. So try and take yourself out of it. Like enjoy learning, the different areas that get gummed up with traffic. Like you're going to find there's certain places where people always hang out because it's a really good vantage point, and just play it. Like I feel like Iron Banner is about just hitting the pavement as hard as you can and just being there in that moment. Like if your team loses, your team just sucked.
As someone starting out, Remy's words couldn't be more truer for you. Like, as the matchmaking should be putting you into teams where, based upon your prior record, they're not counting. The team shouldn't be counting on you to do anything special. It very much is true what Remy's saying, that if your team loses, it's because they lost. Because the game should be accounting for you having, no PvP experience. And the best quick tip I can give you is tap the ghost button and see who's the top of your leaderboard in any given game. Try to find them and follow them around at a decent little distance and give them cover. You'll learn lots.
That's a really good point.
Okay.
That is a really good point. And this is a game where you can, just like Agros is saying, follow somebody around and see what they're doing. Like imagine just shooting somebody once and that being the difference between the person in front of you living and dying, and then you've just made all of the difference, but you weren't the one who was taking all the heat. Like it's hard, especially in first-person shooters, to find team players. Like I feel like so many times everybody just takes off in their own direction and nobody is trying to back up anyone else. And that's when I do my best, is when I find somebody who foolishly rushes out into the middle trying to get B, and I'm shooting the people who are shooting him. I'm giving
that's why
him
Remy
cover.
likes playing with me.
Right? Absolutely. PvE, PvP. It's Agrios and Dendros.
Target.
God.
So yeah, just pick a person and follow them around, and hang back, shoot at what they're shooting at, shoot at what's shooting at them, and I feel like your game is going to come so much further, because you're going to get a much better feel than if you're trying to take on head first these other people who are they're just really good. Some people out there are just amazing. So
well, and map awareness.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
where following the leader will help a lot.
Yeah. Well, I felt like when I played, I think it was Frontier, 2 or 3 times this last week, And I finally started to get a feel for the map. So I knew where people were going to shoot from and what was good cover and where to jump and things like that. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, good. That's the most important part, is that you're enjoying it. The second most important part is winning.
Yes.
All right, moving on.
So while we're talking about Iron Banner, I'm going to jump ahead to the questions in their where they're addressing the community portion. Why am I not getting my Iron Banner rewards? Iron Banner has been both a test of skill and your best gear, as well as a way to get a new set of gilded armor and weapons. Legendary items won't drop until you reach rank 2 with Lord Saladin. The pool expands as you continue to climb the ranks. So the higher rank you are, the better chances you have of getting Iron Banner loot. Now, it looks like the loot that drops is the exact same loot that he's selling. So you're not likely to get anything other than what you see at the store, although you're liable to get different variants if you, say, get the boots or the bond or class item and whatnot. They go on to say that subsequent Iron Banner events will include additional pieces of gear, of course. They also go on to address the question, what are you doing about lag in the Iron Banner? They say that if you're manipulating network traffic or if your connection is so bad that you're unintentionally compromising the experience of other players, they're going to issue a temporary restriction to all Crucible activity. The first round of these restrictions went live yesterday, and the second wave is happening right now. As they ensure that they're targeting the right people and time goes on, they will expand their net, so to speak, as they say, to catch more and more of the perpetrators of shenanigans. And they even give fair warning that if you're a repeat offender, you will get a permanent ban from the Crucible. They say with Trials of Osiris is live when it's coming up here, when they finally reschedule it. They'll be utilizing the same policies and technologies. And they're always fine-tuning matchmaking. They say that they're monitoring the overall health and trying to make improvements across the board. What do you guys think about the current state of the Iron Banner and lag and such compared to how the previous one was, for instance?
River.
Well, besides all the glitches and stuff, I think it feels really good, but I haven't really experienced any lag. I have gotten a lot of weasels and baboons, but as far as lag or anything like that, it's not as crazy as I'm hearing from other people, at least as far as my experience.
I couldn't agree more, Crimson Warlock.
Yeah, lag's been better. I've had some games where it's been pretty bad. Like, for example, earlier today, I shotgunned someone in the back who was running into a wall. And then I died. And then they killed someone. And then they died. And so that was really frustrating because it's like, hold on, wait a second. What just happened in that exchange? But apparently we both shotgunned each other around the same time, but it took 5-6 seconds for the game to catch up. And yeah, it's better than it has been, but I still hope in the future that they can really get a lot of that sorted out and it's not as much of an issue.
Jazz.
I accidentally try to kill people that are disappearing. Like I'll shoot a guy, and then seconds later he just disappears.
So they're like taking goblins.
Well, it's kind of like they're leaving the match, but why would they leave the match if they're on the winning side?
That's a good point.
And weasels.
Yeah. They're starting to farm with River.
That doesn't really happen too much on PlayStation side.
True. I rarely have that occur with me, but Remy had a bit of an issue with some baboons or weasels or something the other evening, right? Right after changeover.
Yeah, it was really crazy, and it happened on both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 at the same time. I couldn't log into either while I kept getting baboons and weasels as well. So,
and I wasn't having any problem at the same time, so it was obviously the regional server was having issues.
Right. Absolutely. let's see. Was that it? Mystic, you said you haven't played Iron Banner, so you don't have an answer on that. Agrios?
Remy, just real quick, do you play over Wi-Fi or are you wired?
On the Xbox One and the Xbox 360, I play wired, and the PlayStation 4, I play wireless.
And so I would suggest if you can with your PlayStation to try and make that wired, because I was playing wireless a couple weeks ago and I was getting huge baboon errors all the time, and then I was finally able to get a wired solution. I haven't seen it since.
Okay, the only reason I don't do wired is because pretty often I will get an error from the PlayStation that says not connected, LAN cable not found, or something like this, and I don't ever get that error when I'm going over wireless. Like my PlayStation 4,
a hardware problem of some sort.
Yeah, absolutely, but it doesn't happen with the Xbox One. Like I'm using the same cable I was using the same cable because I can only play one at a time. Except for on changeover.
Well, maybe it's the port in the back of your PlayStation.
Yeah, totally. And that's what I'm thinking it is. And so that's the only reason I don't use wired on my PlayStation 4.
Bummer.
Moving on. Continuing.
Moving on. So I'm going to bounce back into the update we had earlier this week with some of the changes that were made to the overall Crucible. The Shax's weekly bounties now unlock across all characters after completing the Crucible quest line on one character. And I have to say that is one heck of a quest line. So this is a little bit relieving. It had you bouncing around from every faction leader to the gunsmith to the Crucible quartermaster from Shax himself. Giving you different assignments to get different numbers of wins, doing different things in different playlists across the Crucible. And
so far, my favorite part is you get a quest, complete a match in the Daily Crucible, and you do that one. It's like win a match in Daily Crucible. Okay, you do that one. Win 4 more matches in Daily Crucible. It's like, oh, yeah.
And then they start giving you absurd things as you get farther down the line. Not absurd, but like a lot more precise, such as get 6 kills with an auto rifle and win the match 3 different times. Now do it with every other gun in existence.
It's silly.
That's
so yeah. So now you only have to complete that on one character to unlock your weekly bounties on all of your characters for the Crucible. I've talked to people that didn't even know weekly bounties exist yet because they haven't even touched, getting through one of those quest lines on even one of their characters so far. Damage curves have been adjusted for all power-enabled playlists to account for the new light levels in Year 2. We talked about that earlier with the changes to the Iron Banner curve. Distinct audio cues have been created for teammate and enemy revives, so when someone's revived right around the corner or in the heat of battle, you'll know whether it was a friend or foe that just popped up. The weekly Crucible bounty featured matches now properly progresses in weekly featured playlists in addition to daily featured playlists. Weekly Crucible bounties, featured matches, and making an impact now also count top 3 finishes in Rumble as wins to be consistent with other Crucible quest and bounty steps. Hold the Line bounty now only requires being near one of your teammates instead of 2. They also fixed an issue where the largest multi-kill stat on the Mayhem scoreboard did not accumulate correctly. For the playlists, the Thieves' Den has been removed from the Rift playlist. The Twilight Gap and Asylum have been added to the Elimination playlist. They removed the Thieves' Den from the Doubles playlist, and they removed Anomaly and Fire-based Delphi from the Inferno Salvage and Inferno Skirmish playlists. They also made a number of changes to Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris, which we have mentioned most of in our discussion about them.
Good, because we got like 20 minutes.
Okay, so into the world of PvE then. Big thing that happened, main thing that's caused a lot of discussion in the community, we talked about it a lot last week, was the removal of shot package. Shot package perks have been removed and replaced on shotguns with a non-range boosting perk. They fixed an issue where the Black Spindle had an unintended plus 20 attack bonus, so those were all nerfed back. They just simply took 20 off of your Black Spindle if you had it in your inventory, regardless of what you had done to it previously. They fixed an issue in which a rare sniper rifle scope upgrades did not correctly show progress. They fixed an issue in which activating the Eye of the Storm perk was not using correct feedback when readying weapons. And they fixed an issue in which the second wind perk was incorrectly applying on the initial spawn, which is the new perk found on the Iron Banner boots. How do you guys feel about the world without shot package?
Can I say something real quick?
Do it.
Because I listened to the podcast for last week, and I saw how passionate Ghost was about shot package, and everybody losing their shot. And I know the question came up, why wasn't it replaced with rangefinder, right? Agros, you still confused about that?
Well, I wouldn't so much say confused as in I would say it was less screwing over of the people who had spent lots of mats to try to produce a shotgun of that particular style. Yes.
But you do know that the shotguns could have shot package and rangefinder, right?
No, that wasn't possible. I don't believe.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think so. Maybe way back, the original vanilla Destiny might have been able to do that, but the re-rollable ones weren't able to, as far as I know.
Yeah, they were.
I don't know, man.
I'm telling you.
I don't want to say you're wrong for certain, but I think you are.
Jez, we need an answer.
Go, Jez.
I'll look it up in a second.
You know what though? That does make sense. If that is the case, then that means that they would have had to change rangefinder as well to something else, because then having two rangefinders on there would be pretty.
Shot package what?
Certain that you couldn't do that before. They couldn't roll in the same node set unless it was like a vanilla Destiny thing. The rerollable.
No, it wasn't getting to be in the same node set. It'd be in different nodes.
No, that's what I mean. They are in the same node set, so they couldn't re-roll together. That's what I was trying to say.
Because I remember trying to look it up, and because I remember some people had shotgun package, and they had rangefinder. Because I remember that back in vanilla, and I was like, man, maybe I wonder if they still had that. And I found, I don't remember where I found it, that it was potentially still there. So I was trying to re-roll it. I tried rolling for it. It was in different nodes whenever I got either one, but I never got them together. I didn't want to spend that many votes, thank goodness.
Yeah, luckily for you.
Do you want to move on, or?
Moving on.
I'm done. That was it for me.
Okay. So now we move into armor. Players can now reroll stat nodes and upgrade nodes on exotic armor via the Twist Fate node. Twist Fate will require glimmer, armor materials, and a glass needle, which will be available from Zur during his weekly visits. The first visit will appear tonight, so we'll get to see the emergence of the glass needle, likely. I think this is a great change. Exotics are harder to get, especially for people who have more casual play times. And being that you could get one that just wasn't either suited to the way the exotic performed or your play style could be disheartening. So now the fact that you can, take more shots at getting these, and it shouldn't be hard to get one you want because there's a fairly limited selection of possibilities. I think this is a great addition.
Agree.
Sticking with
Crimson
exotic.
still here?
Yeah,
What?
Crimson's still here.
I'm just saying, I hadn't heard from him.
I'm here. I just have upset baby.
Oh, little baby.
His warlock is not coming along so hot right now.
I know the feeling.
It's the Titan I have difficulties with.
Oh.
Sunbreaker.
Well, what do you want me to talk about? I can talk about
Man, I just wanted to ask you what you think about this whole re-rolling the exotics. I personally think re-rolling just exotics is pretty much the answer to re-rolling anything.
Yeah, I mean definitely I feel kind of the same way. Is the exotics are so strong anyway that making the best one that you want, go for it. Like, I feel it's a lot better than having every single legendary like re-rollable in a lot of ways. So I'm excited to see how it changes the nature of the game, but makes it more fun.
And you're only able to equip one. See, that's another limitation that I find very, very acceptable to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Continuing.
So sticking with the exotic theme, they fixed an issue where no backup plans did not consistently trigger force barrier on shotgun kills, and they fixed an issue where the air traffic control perk on Taikonaut helm did not properly increase heavy ammo drop rate with a rocket launcher equipped. Smoke bombs used with the sealed Ahamkara grass also no longer cost 2 charges, which was pretty handicapping. But this seems like a great time to point out the discrepancy between different rocket launchers in Taken King and the new rocket launcher ammo-specific boots that are available. It seems that the new rocket launcher ammo boots do not actually increase the number of rockets you pick up in PvP for some of the rocket launchers, namely the JBL models of the Soros that the Arms Day packages contain, as well as the Vortex Soros rocket launcher from Future War Cult. They do, however, appear to still affect the ammo stats on them, but because of maybe rounding issues, they don't round up into getting an extra rocket in PvP. If you're wearing the heavy rocket boots and also equip an exotic chest piece that contains the extra heavy ammo perk, which is similar to the extra heavy ammo perk from the Year 1 boots, those actually stack with the new rocket boots, and you'll actually get 4 rockets for most of the rocket launchers you could equip from the Taken King. If you didn't have the rocket boots on, though, you still would only get 3 while wearing the chest piece. So there's clearly still, inventory being added by the boots, but it's not enough to round up an extra rocket for those rocket launchers on their own.
Jez? Did you have something you wanted to say?
If you've seen the rolls on that rocket launcher that came in the Arms Day, good thing it didn't give you extra.
Are you talking about the one that had rockets, the horseshoes and hand grenades?
It has horseshoes and hand grenades, velocity, hard launch. It's pretty good.
Blast radius booster, yeah. It's got everything you could ask for. And you can get 4 rockets if you wear a heavy ammo chest piece and rocket boots when you use it. So one tactic would be to wear whatever chest piece is appropriate for most of the match and flip to your heavy ammo chest piece for heavy round or something of that nature.
Jez, did you have something you wanted to add to that re-rolling exotics?
No, not particularly.
MysticRose?
Probably not going to be that great.
Nope.
Continuing.
So they made changes to quest and bounties as well. They fixed an issue where the Hunter and Warlock class level up quests were not giving rewards for the correct level. They fixed an issue with some Year 1 exotic bounty items that were causing lingering waypoints to remain over various NPCs, and fixed several issues where some bounties were not correctly requiring players to complete Court of Oryx encounters within the stated time issued on the issued bounty. Affected bounties were the challenge the court reciprocal rune, challenge the court stolen rune, and challenge the court antiquated rune. They fixed an issue where some Vanguard bounties were incorrectly granting credit across entire fire teams. Affected bounties were heavyweight, specialized rampage, enemy in every corner, and invincible. They also fixed an issue where it was possible to not get charges on an Agonarch rune if another rune was completed in the same week. For strikes, the weekly heroic playlist now shows how many weekly bonus legendary mark awards remain. They fixed an issue where players were not transitioning to return to orbit upon Fogoth's death, and also upon Omnigul's death. For the raid, they increased the number of potential shards and added additional materials to the first King Falls chest, and the Bladed Light explosion size has been changed to encompass the entire arena. I already talked about the PvP-oriented stuff, so let's move on to the economy. I'm going to first go over the question from this week's update involving this, and then I'll go over how things have changed.
All right, we got 10 minutes.
Why did you change the economy for strange coins and weapon parts? In Year 2, we took the steps to streamline and simplify the economy for players with hopes of that providing a more direct path to gear and stuff you needed to upgrade that gear would just be more satisfying across the board. Weapon parts specifically have been particularly vexing. Some players use a lot of parts, whereas others use almost none. Still, we're very aware that this is a choke point for some players, and further adjustments may be in order. This is why I mentioned before about the guy from Planet Destiny mentioning that he'd rather see players who played a lot have an overabundance of materials than people who had only casual time be in a drought. And the changes that are causing all these issues, they've nerfed a lot of the drop rates for things. Sources for strange coins, they've reduced faction rep packages to giving only 4 coins instead of 5. Daily Vanguard and Crucible bounties have been reduced by approximately 50%. Weapon parts from dismantling uncommon or rare weapons have been reduced by around 25%. Weapon part turn-ins at factions increased from about 50 rep to 75 reps. So they're giving a couple extra things, but the economy as a whole is being a little bit nerfed. This has caused a lot of uproar in the community. A lot of people are just totally out of weapon parts, and it's really slowing down their play style. Have you guys experienced problems with this?
Yep.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
I have, absolutely. And that's surprising for someone with the amount of materials and things that I have. I mean, I did re-roll a lot of weapons back when re-rolling was available, and I do tend to like to level weapons up for comparison sakes and trying them out. And I have fun trying out a lot of different weapons. So I had no idea that the drop rates had changed and that the consumption rates had changed so much that I just all of a sudden realized this week that I only have like 400 weapon parts left. And this is going from, at some point I had thousands.
Right.
Well,
Zox18 says he had 6,000 weapon parts, or lost 6,000 weapon parts because of re-rolling. That's crazy.
And that's why I said I felt bad for the people losing shop package, because some people lost those parts all rolling specific things that they thought they would have. They thought it was worth to invest the time in earning those materials and invest that time spent in spending them to obtain certain things that were just taken away from them. And that's the aspect. I understand things needed to change, but I really feel bad for people that lost materials like that.
I think if you have like 6,000 weapon parts, I don't think it would be that big of a deal to get those weapon parts back.
Well, it is now.
Not even now, man. I mean, you must be playing a lot of Destiny, Zox. I want to hear from Mystic real quick, please. I want to, you're having a lot of problems with weapon parts. Is it because of your schedule? Are you not getting good enough drops or anything?
Yeah, I think it's the drops, and I also upgrade my weapons whenever I get the chance, so that I have nice high-level weapons. And,
instantly?
Yeah, pretty close. Like I've got a 296 pulse rifle that I've been leveling up, and when I get stuff, it doesn't seem like there's as many parts as there used to be, and I see that from what they're doing, because it never used to be a problem. But I've noticed recently that there'll be weapons that I'm waiting on, and I go out and just run things just so I can get the engrams, just so that there can be parts, so I can finish upgrading weapons that I want.
Got it.
And this is the experience that a lot of more casual gamers, or especially newer people coming to the game, when people are stating they have friends join, and that these friends aren't unable to test out guns and things that they're getting. They're having to pick one gun to get leveled up every 2 weeks or something like that, because of the casual time that they have to put into the game. And I mean, Bungie's talked about a lot in the past about them not wanting to have barriers to having fun with the weapons. They've gone so far as to start including the signature perks as already being unlocked on exotics, and you more or less used to level things up just to increase intellect and discipline, or increase the attack rating or defense rating of an item. Whereas now, this change in the economy, it feels like it's gone back to the point where they're restricting people. They're putting up a barrier for people to go have fun with the rewards. So not only do they have to work for the rewards, but now they got to work to even have a chance to go have fun with these rewards.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you got, Agrios? Because we are out of time.
Okay, well, the very last thing that we haven't talked about yet, it's pretty big. It was originally planned for launch on October 30th, but the raid team is ready to go early. They've decided to launch the Kingsfall Hard Mode raid Friday, October 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific. Recommended light for hard mode is 300 to 320. The loot that will drop will be between 310 and 320. They promise that before the race for the world's first begins, they shall share some more insights from the raid design team that's about to bring the real pain.
Crazy.
Tune in next week.
Awesome. Yeah, tune in next week. River won't be here, but if he has something to say, he's always free to make an audio file and we'll play it on the show, or he can write in and I will read it out in my best imitation of River. Right now, though, we have to do shout-outs because we are out of time. MysticRose.
Shout out to Bell Bunny, because if it weren't for here and starting the Dames of Destiny, I wouldn't be playing. Or I'd be playing, but I'd be playing solo, and I would never have met all the wonderful people that I've met.
I don't know. She's lucky she snatched you up quick, because we could definitely use somebody with your positive attitude and support of the community here in Guardian 1. You're always welcome here.
Thank you.
Agrios.
Shout out to Sharks 3D Man for it being his birthday and all. Happy birthday.
Excellent. Happy birthday, Sharks. Jez.
Shout out to Leopard Stealth because he just had a baby not too long ago, like at pretty much the day the game launched. So that was kind of crazy.
Outstanding. Congratulations to you, Leopard Stealth, and also Little Spoon. Crimson Warlock.
Shout out to, everyone playing Iron Banner and being frustrated, but still enjoying the game and having fun with it. Go, it's fun. Go play PvP. Enjoy it.
It is fun. River.
Our brothers at the Aim Assist podcast are doing a breast cancer awareness stream starting tomorrow. Don't really have the time on that, but it is a 48-hour stream. Go show them some support because they are awesome.
Yep.
Excellent.
And they're sharing that with Dames of Destiny.
Oh yeah, that's a good point because I see that on the little graphic too. Dames.
Outstanding. My shout out is to Flounder. She has been playing so much Destiny this past couple of weeks because of the quest lines. She's able to just check off what she's doing now, and so it's been really fun playing with her. And it's really brought me back to the Xbox side. And I actually picked up Zayla Supercell the other day, and I would not have done that if I wasn't running with her and had those 3 of coins. So shout out to her. Thank you for playing with me, because I don't know, couples that play together are super happy, and we weren't really playing a bunch of Destiny before those quest things came out. So that is super awesome. And that wraps up episode 61. I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions to be discussed on the show, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week.